Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here in front of you guys, and I'm here to talk to you about a new channel I'm launching. It's called the G Money Podcast. So it's going to be at Gary Golden dash the G Money Podcast. So it's going to be in the description of this video, but it's going to be a totally new channel, a totally different aspect. It's going to be more professional. It's going to be a lot of it's going to be very business oriented. It's going to be a lot of interviews, and it's going to be as professional as I can make it. And it's not going to be any shenanigans. It's going to be all serious content. But I need your support from my followers from this current channel. So I have a list here in front of me. Quick glance, probably 40-ish people I'm reaching out to for future interviews. They all have an interesting story. They all have a very interesting background. Everybody's a little bit different. And last week, I kind of struck out on a couple of my attempts. I was very disappointed in that. I was like bummed. I was like, because I thought, man, this could set me off in the right direction. And then I realized, I realized, like, on my personal Facebook page, I know a lot of people. So I went through my entire friends list, and I realized, wow, you're dropping the ball here if you don't start talking to some of these people. There's a lot of people out there with interesting stories, very successful stories. Everybody has a different interpretation of what success is. And I'm going to try and reveal that in these upcoming podcasts that are coming. So I'm very, very excited. Like, I was very down and out the other day because some of the people I dearly wanted to interview just can't do it. Either I'm trying to be politically correct. Their mental capacity is no longer capable, or some people just don't feel comfortable. But so far, I have some really good yes. The two yeses I have are going to be phenomenal. And I don't know what I can do, which order I'm going to do this. I'm reaching out to all these people, and unfortunately, my schedule is so chaotic. I never know when I'm going to have private time. So that's like the one big hurdle right now, is knowing when I have private time and coinciding that with somebody else's interview time. So I'm trying to get some stability in my life, but unfortunately, it's out of my control. But I will say, the people I'm looking at right now that I've heard, one is like, they're both. I can't even just say one because that would be shortchanging the other one, but both are successful authors, very successful in business. Both have a totally different journey. They both have a different vision of what they want their success to be. And I think it can be truly inspiring for a lot of people. Sometimes, you need to be lassoed in to get back on that mental focus. And I've been guilty of that for so many reasons that it's hard. It really is hard for me to focus, just because, like, I truly, as an individual, my brain never rests. It never does. I love those people that can go to the beach, just sit in a beach chair for 5-6 hours, and like, to me, like I just, my body does not know how to relax because my life is so unfulfilled. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but for me to try and relax is nearly impossible. Even when I sleep at night, My body does not know how to relax. I have nightmares. So I feel by doing some of these positive podcasts on the G Money podcast, it would be at Gary Golden, the G Money podcast. You're going to see some really, really interesting stories from all aspects of life. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like I want to tip my hand so bad on some of these, but I would say there's probably 40 on the list. If 20 of them say yes, it's going to be a grand slam. It's going to be truly special. I know there's a lot of people that will, I'm not going to say a lot, but a lot of these names on the list will say yes. It's just a matter of time. I think probably the best avenue for me is the first few episodes really need to be high quality, pretty much like, I don't want to say grand slam, but at least a home run for the content and show that there is stability in this new channel at Gary Golden, the G Money Podcast. So with that being said, if you can, I'm going to drop some slang, some lingo on you. If you can do me a solid, go over to the G Money Podcast. There is currently the intro video, another follow-up video I did inquiring to the audience, what types of videos would you like to see? So with that being said, I'm seriously considering eliminating that second video, but after I post this video, I'm probably going to leave it up until maybe 24 to 48 hours. And if anybody wants to comment on that video, on people you think I should interview as a podcast, it could be any type of, it could be a hunter, it could be a fisherman, it could be a entrepreneur, it could be, a homeless person, or, whatever you think it is. If you think it's valuable and you want to comment on that second video I did, one of the things I want to do on that channel, which I realized I kind of rushed that second video because I was a little bit down and out. I want to look professional. I always want to have a collared shirt on when I do that podcast. I realized in that second video I didn't, but I'm going to leave that up there so I can receive input. Or if you want to input it on this video, I would greatly appreciate it. Any input you can do, and then I will be removing that second video. It's not what I want to be about. I want to be more professional and do a serious podcast. Obviously, I don't have the perfect studio right now. I'm dealing with what I have, but it's better than nothing. I'm really proud of that logo, that sign that was made for me. That touches my heart every time I look at that, because the people that did that did me a huge favor. They nailed it. I'm all about patriotism, the American flag. That's why I asked for it to be red, white, and blue, and it looks very nice. I'm very happy for that. So I also want to interview YouTubers, different types of YouTubers. It could be homesteaders. It could be, hikers. It could be someone doing a video in the middle of a cornfield, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I would love for it to have interest to me, like for me to really feel like I can delve into the content where I can really, enjoy and dig deep into it. Certain types of YouTube channels I might not be able to get as excited about, but if I understand and appreciate their hustle, I probably can. Like, I don't know, like if somebody had like a maid cleaning service, like, probably not something I'm going to get excited about. But if it's a successful business, like the entrepreneurship part of that might excite me and get me to really be really inquisitive, maybe open my eyes, open my brain, open the floodgates to like, what can you learn by talking to these people? I feel like the more people you talk to, the more you can learn, and and here's another thing. One thing I learned through sports growing up, you're going to learn more through failure than you will through success. I truly believe that. So if you learn why you failed, if you have any type of smarts upstairs, you're going to learn how to prevent that. So if you talk to many, many very, very successful entrepreneurs, you're going to learn more lessons through failure than you will through accidental success. So that's what I'm trying to do with this channel, is just try and motivate people, and even motivate myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I need to motivate myself. I've lost a lot of motivation for many reasons. Some people know some of the reasons. Not many people know all of the reasons, but I'm trying to get remotivated. There's a lot of YouTube channels I follow and admire, so they're all going to be on the radar. But for the most part, I want to introduce a lot of my YouTube friends to people they don't know. They currently do not know. They're not familiar with. I want to bring something to their lives that they don't know anything about. Like, if don't take this the wrong way, but if I was to do a podcast, which I'm going to do eventually soon, I don't know when, about, like, say, JJ Drones, that would be Jason Johnson. Everybody knows I talk about him. A lot of people already know about his story. But what I want to do is bring new, interesting people into your lives that you know nothing about. A lot of people know about Jason Johnson, JJ Drones, which is nothing wrong with that. But I want to introduce new people as well as old people, old friends, and we can talk about how their lives are progressing. Are they meeting their goals? Did you start off with this little camper and now you're up to a fifth wheel? Stuff like that. So, like, there's all different aspects I want to do on the podcast channel, because the podcast channel is going to be about people. Hopefully it's going to be about changing lives and helping people reach successful levels. And I know you're looking at me probably saying, why is this dude talking to me about success and successful levels? Don't ever feel like you're eliminated from that avenue. The next 2 weeks are going to be very challenging for me. I could be eliminated from that, but I realized today, all I can do is all I can do. So I'm pushing forward, right? Pushing forward. And the two people that did give me the first yeses, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, because their stories are going to be so tremendous. I don't know which one's going to be first. I don't know all these other people I'm reaching out to. I don't know who's going to be first. I really don't. I know who I want to be first, but it could be like a 1 month delay or a 2 month delay. I'm trying to work with the people that are working with me. So it is, it's going to be truly an honor to bring to you a different type of channel in a high professional, role presentation as much as I can do. And it is, I think I truly feel once I get like 4 or 5 under my belt that are high quality, I think the rest is going to fall in place. Because once people, I'm very inquisitive. If somebody was going to invite me to a podcast, I would do research and look at their background. What have they done in the past? So that's what I really want to do. It's like building a house. I want my first 4, 5, 6, whatever. It's like building the foundation of a house. You need it to be solid. So that's what I want to do with this channel you're seeing right behind me, the G Money Podcast, at Gary Golden, the G Money Podcast. So the description is going to be down below. If you guys can please subscribe, tell me your thoughts, feelings, and if you want to suggest anybody for a podcast interview, I'm more than open to it. If you want to open yourselves up to a podcast interview, I'm open to it. And I'm looking for a wide variety. And I will slightly tip my hand. This is not in any particular order, but I will give you an idea. One would be a former professional football player who is now that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it vague. One is a major in the Marine Corps. One is the owner of a bait making company. Another one would be some very well-known famous restaurateurs locally. Another one would be a former football player that I somewhat coached, who is a very successful businessman right now. Another one is a manager of a world-famous fishing outlet locally. That could be a good one if he says yes. Another one would be a former Division I football player who's now a commercial crabber and also puts his hands in a lot of different things in a positive manner. Also a former football coach who is still grinding. That's going to come up in the future. There is a charter captain who is also a chief of a local fire department. That is one gentleman I want to interview. He's done a lot of amazing, truly heroic things, not just only in our surrounding areas, but all over the country. That's stuff that needs to be addressed in a podcast. There's a local businessman who was very fortunate and was able to obtain a lot of money. But he did not just squander it away. He invested in a franchise and is very successful to this day. If I had to guess, he's probably his investment has gone tenfold with what he was able to receive. This is one of the yeses. This is an author, a person who is a business mentor, also was a member of SCORE. There's some other things. He's done amazing things. His progression in business has been truly phenomenal. I really need to keep that, I need to keep them all under wraps for you. But then there's just a friend I met many years ago, a young lady who ventured here to Southwest Florida and went to Texas A&M, just highly intelligent young lady who is now living in Alaska. Her journey, her life experiences are just amazing. So I have reached out to her previously about something else. She did say yes. Excuse me, I'm belching again. I'm going to reach out to her again, follow up to do it on this new channel. I don't anticipate a no. It's just a matter of our times coinciding with Alaska time, my schedule, and whatnot. Then there is a local gentleman I know who started a very, very successful apparel brand related to fishing. He would be a great interview. So I'm looking forward to that happening. Then there would be a saltwater fishing captain from the Long Island area, very, very successful, very well-known individual who has a lot of well-known content on YouTube. Then there is another local female charter captain kind of near the region that really just got affected by Hurricane Idalia. And her story is truly amazing as well. She's very talented individual. I want to talk to her. I don't think she's going to say no, but I can't speak for them until they say yes. Then there's another lady who we are friends on Facebook. Some of these people, just mind you, many years ago, I was in these real big popular entrepreneur groups, and I met a lot of very successful people from all walks of life, all across the country, all across the globe. And a lot of these people are like obviously way more successful than me, and it doesn't probably take much to do that. But some of these people are really cool, down-to-earth people. So this one lady has a very interesting life story, was a participant on the Shark Tank, did get an investment, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm 99% sure she got the investment. Then there's another person who I'm extremely excited about that I'm not even going to tell you about because she was my first yes. So I'm going to keep that secret, but I will tell you it is top notch, top notch. It involves so many aspects of entrepreneurship. It involves so much hustle, so much just common sense, logic. Just put your nose to the grindstone. Go get after it. Never take no for an answer. She's that type of individual, and she is definitely number one on my radar. So, with that being said, there is ironically I'm not trying to skim off a famous show called Shark Tank. This is just how they happen to be in order. Another famous individual, this may be a long shot, I don't know, who is from Arcadia, had a very, very popular pitch on Shark Tank, was approved and has been very successful. Very laid back country dude. I would love to interview him. We once had talked briefly through like Facebook and Messenger. That was years ago. And he might say yes. I don't know. He might say no. Might be too busy. I don't know. But that could be really interesting. You can see there's like all types of things. So there's another guy that I was very, very, very impressed with through one of these entrepreneur groups, that this gentleman was so focused on his professionalism, how he uplifts his management staff, all his employees. He was in retail management, all the things he does and all the things he does for his family, how he prepares, and his goals, like with like music and like wrestling federations and stuff like that, how he struggled so hard to try and achieve his goals, and then he's achieving them like at like a super high successful rate. That's going to be a very good podcast. I'm pretty confident he would probably say yes. Just a matter of our dates need to jive. Here's another one that this is, man, I really got to keep this one. How can I throw a teaser out here on this one? I have a feeling this gentleman would say yes. I know he's getting a little bit older in age. I love the guy. I will say he is a founder of a world famous candy company, and Ronald Reagan used to love to eat those things. So that gentleman, he's His story's incredible. He has more get after it than anybody I know, and he could just pack his bags and not worry about it. But he's still after it. He's so creative. He's so mentally sharp. So sharp when it comes to marketing and branding himself. Branding is probably his specialty. Then there's another gentleman who's a up and coming world famous artist. Very unique style of artwork. Does a lot of stuff down in the Everglades. That's all I'm going to say about him. Then there's two brothers that have created a world famous fishing brand and organization that are basically out of the Tampa area. I would love to interview them. I know of them somewhat. I've never met them face to face. We've had some dialogue in the past. If I could get one, both, whatever, it would be really cool. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know. Another one I would love to interview is a friend of mine that I grew up with. No, I say grew up. He was a little bit older than me, but we ended up working together. We did a lot of crabbing together, who was a Delaware State trooper. And he was a very successful trooper in so many different specialized units. I would love to interview him. Then there's a charter captain from the Tampa region who is very highly respected and who is an African American, which doesn't matter to me. But when you listen to this gentleman's story, he always makes fun of it. And when I remember hearing on a radio show one day, they said, how do Captain, how do people reach out to you? And he said, all you got to do is Google Black Charter Captain Tampa Bay. And that's just his humor, right? But he's a good dude, really good dude, very smart. He's very outdoorsy, not just fishing, does a lot of hunting. He's a really good dude, super funny. I don't even know why he's in the fishing industry. He just could be a stand-up comic full time. That would be really nice if he said yes. Then there's a gentleman who is has a really, really big marina up north of us. I'd say north of us somewhat. I forget the name of the place, but I don't want to tip my hand too much. But is a president of a very large, important organization in the state of Florida related to fishing. Then there is another gentleman who I know through entrepreneur groups who is he has more hustle than anybody I know because he has a very specialized, I would call it like an apparel type brand, but he has branched off into different things. He does podcasts and he has think groups and stuff like that. Might have given it away right there. My former football coach, that still is not out of the question. His son, who's also a really, really highly successful Division II football coach and track coach. Another famous YouTuber. Some stuff I want to do with the United States Coast Guard, the Florida Wildlife Commission. Another really cool guy who is very well versed in finance, real estate, fishing, a lot of stuff related to YouTube. There's another friend of his who's very successful with YouTube, real estate, and a new fishing outlet. And there's another individual I want to talk to who is a pretty well-known, world-famous gentleman related to inventors, specializes in inventors, And then one guy would be a really highly successful YouTube weatherman that is just off the charts, very successful. So that's what I'm thinking, folks. If you could do me a solid, at Gary Golden, the G Money Podcast. That's at Gary Golden the G Money Podcast. I appreciate your support, and I want to make that channel grow. The more people I have subscribed, when I launched some of these first foundations of episodes, the more successful the channel is going to be. So I appreciate you guys, and shoot me your suggestions. I want to talk to you guys. I want to hear from you. I want to include you guys. So I